In this video, we're talking about symbols of inclusion and how to handle symbols of inclusion when we're simplifying expressions or equations. And when we talk about symbols of inclusions, we're mainly talking about parentheses, brackets, and braces. So parentheses we're probably already familiar with. That's these symbols here, parentheses. Brackets are these sort of squared off parentheses. We call these brackets. And then braces are these fancier ones here on the outside. We call these braces. And the reason that we use symbols of inclusion is because when we have sort of nested operations, we have parentheses within parentheses, we like to use these different symbols of inclusion so that we can distinguish the different levels of operations. So if you can imagine, if we just had parentheses where these parentheses are, but also where the brackets are, and also where the braces are, it'd be hard to see exactly where we're supposed to start. Remember, PEMDAS and order of operations tell us that we do the computations within the parentheses first. And if everything was parentheses, it'd be hard to figure out where to start. So when we have parentheses inside of parentheses, instead of just nesting all of these different parentheses, we like to instead start with parentheses for the innermost operation, and then working our way out, use brackets to distinguish that that's what we should do next, and then use braces to tell us that that's what we should do last. So parentheses within brackets within braces, and that's what's conventional, is to use that order. If there's only one set of parentheses, then you just use parentheses. If there's a set of parentheses within another, then you make that outer set brackets. And if there's brackets within other parentheses, then you make those outermost parentheses braces instead. So you use parentheses on the inside, and working your way out, you use brackets and then braces. And that tells you do what's inside the parentheses first, then the brackets, then the braces, and it makes it really obvious where we should start. So if we want to simplify this expression, we work our way from the inside out, and we say, what do we do inside the parentheses here? Well, we have -5 plus 3, so that's going to become -2. So then we keep our braces and our brackets, and we say 5 times -2 minus 2 plus 4, like this. Now we can see we have brackets inside of braces, so we need to do what's inside the brackets first. We do our multiplication and then our addition and subtraction. So 5 times a -2 is a -10. So we have -10 minus 2. That's still inside of our brackets, which is inside of our braces here, plus 4. Like this. -10 minus 2 is going to be a -12. So we have -12 inside of brackets plus 4, and then inside of our braces. And we know that -12 plus 4 is going to be a -8. So what we end up with inside of the braces here is just -8, like this. Now when you have something like this nested inside of a fraction, this is another layer of sort of nesting or inclusion. We need to do everything that's in the numerator first. We need to do everything that's in the denominator separately. And then our last step, our very last step, is going to be the division of the numerator divided by the denominator. So when we look just at the numerator here, notice that we have parentheses inside of brackets, inside of braces. So we're going to keep our braces, and we're going to say this negative sign out in front. We're going to have 2 plus what's ever inside of our parentheses. 2 times 4 here is 8, so we'll have 2 plus 8. Minus, keeping our brackets, 2 times 1 inside of the parentheses is 2. So we're going to have 2 plus 2, keeping the brackets and keeping the braces. We'll leave the denominator out for a second and just continue with the simplification of our numerator. Now we have brackets inside of braces, so we're going to say -2 plus 8. 2 plus 2 is 4, so we have minus 4 when we distribute this negative sign here. So now we're just everything inside of braces. And when we do our addition and subtraction, 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 minus 4 is 6, and we have this negative sign out in front, so we get -6. Now if we bring our denominator back into play, we have -6 divided by absolute value of -4 minus 2. So absolute value of -4, how far is -4 away from the origin? Well, it's 4 units away from the origin, so the absolute value of -4 is 4. So we end up with -6 over 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2, so we end up with -6 over +2. -6 over +2 is a -3, so -3 is our final answer. But again, the most important part of this concept is just when you have parentheses nested inside of brackets, nested inside of braces, and that's our conventional order, you want to do the operation inside of the parentheses first, simplify all of that, then do everything inside the brackets, simplify that, and then finally do everything inside of the braces. And if you have something like this in a fraction, you want to do the entire numerator of the fraction, do the entire denominator of the fraction, and then as your very last step, like we did down here, do the division within the fraction of the numerator divided by the denominator.